Yeah.
I already got a correction. You know that I did a stupid thing, and it was wrong too. See this?
Uh-huh.
And it cost me a lot of money, and I wasn't even thinking at that time that way. That should have been captain.
Oh, at the time, you mean? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I had shot down 2 planes. And the one that really counted, there was a picture, was when I squeezed, I came in on this guy.
Yeah.
I was coming around in a big circle, and he was trying to climb and get out of there. And I came around this way, and as I was coming about right here, and I can remember it like it was yesterday, I was right here, and I sensed that I wasn't going to make it, right? So I rolled this way and went back around and came this way, because I was going to overshoot him.
Okay.
So I did this and came around, and I pulled on that anti-parallax sight. I pulled my ring just a little bit to the right of him, out here,
Yeah.
because those bullets, we were all moving, including the bullets, before I fired them.
Yeah.
And I squeezed it, and they went like that, and immediately we started flaming. I blew it apart, set it on fire. It went down in flames.
Huh. Wow.
But that was the second plane I shot down on that one single mission. I had 74 missions. 70 of them were low altitude, close support, dive bombing and strafing.
Yeah.
4 of them were high altitude and escort. And we didn't have a chance up there to mix it with any other planes. They didn't come around when we were up there.
Well, they knew you wouldn't follow them all the way, so as soon as you went back, then they came in. They waited till you guys...
No, we took them all the way out and then brought them back.
Okay.
And we had external gas tanks, everything, which we jettisoned when they were empty.
Yeah.
But, so we didn't have these things that were going on. And all the way back to the base, I was thinking, 2 of them. And one of the other guys had never even mixed one. I don't know why I did it. And I talked to him when we were back over the lines and returning to base. And then we could talk on the radio. And I told him, I said, you know what? When we get back, if you want, you can claim one of those kills. What I had, and I didn't know it then, I'd used all my film on the first guy, and I must have damaged him because, it doesn't show anything, but then it shows just firing, and then I followed him all the way down, and we were way up high, and I followed him down, but periodically I was given a little burst, and I wasn't shooting at him or anything, I was just, or yes, I was shooting at him, but, and I didn't know he was gonna crash, but I just periodically gave it just a momentary burst.
Yeah.
And then I saw him hit the ground, and it was just a big flash type of thing. And that was all. I climbed back up, rejoined the guys, and when we were on the way back, I told them, then I climbed up. And then all of a sudden, here we got mixed with this other, and then I came in and 3 guys of our people went after him, and they evidently didn't learn their lessons properly, because they didn't hit a strike on him. And he was gonna get away. And I came around. I was the 4th guy that could have taken a shot at him, so I went after him. So he was just trying to climb away, and I came around, and I couldn't have cleared him. So as I was coming around, I rolled it like this and then back around.
So you're still in range.
Yeah. And then I pulled a little ahead and aimed my ring just a little bit ahead of him. And then I squeezed. And that's when he ceased to live. He flamed. I shot him down in flames. That was a picture book shoot down.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this until maybe 3 days or a week later, when we would go into, I forget what they called it, or the session with the intelligence guys. We had 2
Briefing?
intelligence guys.
You did a briefing of it?
Well, a debriefing.
Debriefing.
Yeah. And it showed me after this plane and lots of ground up ahead. And I was following him down all the way. Just happened, you know, moments, but I was following him down, and it would show a couple, it would show a plane out there, and then some tracers, and then a plane and some tracers, and then a plane and flash. He hit the ground. If whether he bailed it out or not, he could have. He had time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he was killed or not.
Kevin wants to show you your films here now. Ready?
yeah, that was a great explanation of what, those didn't get captured on the film, so it's good you described them, you know?
Yeah.
On these films, you probably had it on the films that weren't working. So there were 2 reels that didn't turn out because of just deterioration over age, and this is a third reel we're gonna look at. So I'm just gonna stop it periodically.
Maybe it shows that guy.
Well, we'll see.
We can't watch the whole thing.
Oh, this is real short, it's not that long. All right, we'll just start with the first thing, which is here. So this is
I got a little white spot on mine.
Yeah, that's yours.
this is 19th Tactical Air Command, and then combat film numbers, and this is 11,671. So apparently, they may have had a lot of different
Okay.
films.
Oh, here's what I wanted to show you. That's why I got my pit out.
Yeah.
Okay.
L-I-E.
Oh yeah, I never noticed that. They didn't spell your name right.
But I hope it's spelled right all the way through,
Yeah.
because I might need some of this stuff to prove that I really was in the war.
Yeah. Well, now H, what's your middle name?
Harold.
Harold. And the first is Al or Albert, or what do you usually?
Well, I don't use it. Nobody knows it, or that they do now, but you never knew it, none of my
No.
customers. It's Alvin, and I hated
No.
that name. I don't know why, I just hated it.
Yeah. Well, now they got 379th Squadron, 362nd Group,
Fighter group.
and then this is the first one, so that's November 9th of 1944. And then there's a number of these, but we'll go through them kind of one by one, and I'll stop it as we're seeing things that are. So here, there's, just for people that aren't familiar with looking at these, there's white dots that are flying towards the target, and there's also white dots that come out of the ground towards you. So these are tracers? Would that be the, so that's this,
Have to be tracers.
that'd be this kind of a round with some kind of a coating on it?
Well, it would be, I'm gonna guess,
Yeah.
it would be a hollowed out section. And how much of that projectile is hollowed out, I don't know. But it had to have a phosphorescent material or
Yeah,
something.
caught on fire. Did that throw the aim off with those, or?
Huh?
Did the coating, did that affect the flight paths of these, or?
Evidently not, because they would,
here.
they would, well, there's stuff in the barrels. Machine gun barrels that give it a
Yeah, the rifling.
spinning,
Yeah.
the rifling, and that keeps them on a trajectory.
Well, if you look at these films, some of these are pretty much straight, you know, you're coming in on the target, and this is one where you're actually turning the whole airplane, like you were describing, you did different maneuvers, which I'm not familiar with, but you might be. And then they all, here, I'll stop this for a second. These films also show the streets or whatever that you could, in theory, reconstruct where these were if you had enough information
Yeah.
in the future.
Well, we were tearing up the joint. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. There it looks like you're straightening out and then you're pulling up. Now this, here's the tracers are going in. This looks like some kind of an intersection at a town. And we could pull still photos off of these, you know, and enhance them with the technology. Would there be, like, you're looking for trucks and transports and railroads, and what were your basic targets that you'd?
Well, you named it.
Yeah, anything that's moving that might be transporting troops and so forth.
This we knew, and some of this also we knew or were told what was down there or something, and some of that was also for the purpose of making the anti-aircraft placements, the people that were sitting at them, dive for their foxholes
Yeah.
or wherever. We wanted to just keep the enemy gunnery.
Yeah, keep
Down.
them, yeah. Is that what covering fire is? That might be an army term, where you're firing to, so the other people aren't sitting up there.
I can only go by what I'm gonna guess, what it sounds like. Covering fire would be like artillery, what is it, barrage, to make guys dive for the ground.
Yeah, yeah,
And get them away from their guns.
yeah. Well, you were kind of trying to keep the anti-aircraft fire at a minimum.
Some of that, maybe,
Yeah.
and some we were going after, looking to damage. And some of it, we might have wanted to just get the film rolling to show what was happening, I don't know, on a plane just in front of us that was laying a bomb on something.
Mm-hmm. Could you turn the camera on without firing the gun? You had to be pressing the button to fire the gun, okay.
We had no control over that camera.
Well, some of these actually show you hitting things that blow up and stuff, so you're pretty good. Now that almost looks like a marshalling yard here, and you're diving in on a target. And they're a little rough because this is 70 years old and there was some deterioration, but it's clear there's a road. You know, you got a target off to the right there. Your tracers are going in a pattern. You can see where they cross if you're a little further away, and then they start diverging again. They must have been had a concentric point that they were aimed
they
for.
do. I was trying to come up with a phrase. Our guns were sighted in.
Okay.
For a certain distance.
Yeah, I think, I don't know what, but this sticks in my mind, 1,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
It just
Okay,
sticks.
it
And
sounds
I don't know if it means anything. Or maybe I picked it as guesswork to start with, and now it's familiar to me and I say it or something.
Well, you can make out, you know, if you, in different ones of these, there's trucks, there's railroad, you know, locomotives, there's different things that are on the roadways, and that looked like a main target.
I never had the experience of blowing up a steam engine. That had to be really something. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so they got your name spelled correct. Here we are on November 26th of 1944.
Lieberman. Yeah.
I'm real impressed by if that's actually counting, if that's 11,000 films that they process, that's a big operation for the photography, you know, the photography division.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Because TAC, we used to send, see, they had everything. It was probably a small city of every kind of support there is. And they must have had dark rooms and everything for camera film.
Yeah, to process every airplane.
Yeah. Well, but also I had that little 35 millimeter that I bought or I bartered in Paris, and this was near at the tail end. I think I would say, well, I had the camera at Reims, or was it Verdun? No, I'm standing in front of a road sign that says Reims, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's where you bought the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I bought it in Paris, but I had the camera at the time. We were going to Reims, and we had stopped on the road for a piss call, we called it. Oh, excuse me.
We know what you mean. Everybody has to do that. Well, this is
And so I was going into Reims, I think, and or no, that sign was near our base, some of our operating area where we were. It was probably right close to our tent city, and so it was in the Reims. That had to be, I would say, the first 25% of my time on the continent.
That's a little bit east and a little north of Paris there for Reims?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on the way. And I don't know if it was west or east.
Do you know about what month you might have been there?
No.
Okay.
This is...
Yeah, this has got some dates on it. It looks like you just hit the target and you're pulling up. One thing I've never had anybody ever been able to answer is what this thing is. And what it is it's a little black thing that comes into the picture and it'll go back up again. And I don't know if that's something that symbols when you're pulling the trigger or what this thing is, but they're in all the combat gun films, or most of them.
for everybody.
Yeah.
Beats me.
It must have been some kind of part of the mechanism of the camera. But you'll see it come down and it'll go back up, and I don't know what the significance is.
Unless it was a shutter, a physical shutter.
Yeah, I don't know.
When it's down, is there showing other things?
Well, see, now here's an example where, you know, we had it, it was down, and then now it's not down, and I'm not sure.
And you could see something happening.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the bullets
But
are coming
if it's
out of
down,
the guns.
can you
Now
see
here,
anything?
now it dropped down, see? And this does this up and down thing, and I don't know what it was.
But now, is there anything showing?
Yeah, there's bullets going towards the target. Maybe it's when you let your finger off of the trigger,
It could be.
because they're
No,
firing,
no,
and
because
it's,
my finger isn't,
yeah.
and the trigger is in the cockpit.
Yeah.
And that was outside, out
yeah,
to the right.
it's a mystery. I don't know what that thing is, but it appears in all the films. You'll see it come on and off. See, it just did there, it's on, you know, it's been going on and off. It's something, but it's a common thing in these films, and I've never heard an explanation of it. You know, the other thing that's, there's something going on here, I don't know if this is a railroad track, but there's very distinctive fields. You know, these are rectangular and they're long and there's a pattern to them. You might be able to tell where you're at, you know, if you had enough information.
It's a long time ago.
Well, not you, but I mean somebody that was from there. See, this is some kind of transport.
That's why it would be studied by,
There you're pulling up. Now here we're on October 7th. They have misspelled your name again, back to the misspelled version. But now this is combat film 10,000, so this is a smaller number, but it's October of 44. So maybe they're mixed, you know, mixing these up in date in terms of the dates. See, it's a very distinctive pattern of fields and everything with
Yeah.
the streets. And here you're making a left turn, there you're firing. That might have been the covering, although looks like there's a road there. And it looks like you're almost straight down in that. Here's a river, and you got a town.
there's some more firing.
Yeah. Well, there's some real distinctive buildings in these, which, there you're pulling up. You know, it goes from really pretty clear, now this is an exposure problem, that's probably not at night. You wouldn't have been out there firing at night, I assume. Maybe in twilight? Did you have missions where it was getting dark?
Well, yeah, if there was cloud cover.
Those tracers are coming out of both guns from both
Yeah,
sides?
yeah. You can tell that.
Yep.
Well, the ones where they're firing back at you, you can see them rising, and it's, now this is interesting because there's what look like three fires. There might have been a railroad or locomotive or something over here in the woods, and I don't know, this is sort of pretty hilly looking territory.
Well, there were times when we were dive down between hills.
Yeah. So let's see, so we've got December 12th of 44, so that's just before the bulge? Is that
Just
during the
before.
bulge?
No, bulge didn't start till
In
the
January of,
18th of December was the start of the bulge.
oh, this is 6 days before the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah.
Okay, starts.
Boy, there was flak.
And it's 12,254 on that number, so that's,
There's no pattern there that I can see.
yeah, these are coming in and they're looking, this looks like a road. And you're diving on something. And I don't know if you noticed that, but there was starting to be flak coming up off the ground, then it just ended.
This is during Battle of the Bulge right now.
Yeah, so here we're on December 23rd of 44. Film 13,248. Every once in a while you get one that looks like it was pointed towards the ground, like they were pulling the camera out and it started up.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a pretty distinctive looking field, and it looks like you're firing at the road. There's December 24th. Was that the same day? That's
Next
the same day.
I'm sure you're going out every day you could,
Oh, yeah.
because the
Yes.
weather wasn't good then.
You remember that pretty accurately.
Oh yeah, that's why they said they couldn't get air cover for a while.
Now, this is jumping 2 months ahead. This is February 22nd. So that's 45.
This could be near Bridge of Remagen.
Now,
no,
if you
that-
notice,
No,
if you
that
notice,
was- That was at the very beginning.
if you notice here, this is a real distinctive looking building. It's got 4 buildings. There's 2 here. There's a roadway, and you're really focused on something that's going on in the center of that thing, because
Okay.
you'll see as
Now,
you come in.
there was a town about the size probably of Mankato.
Mhm.
And there was a central building, a main control building, and it was a pretty fancy building. And I had a phosphorus bomb. You know what phosphorus is?
It's a kind of a,
Pretty damn
Hot.
dangerous
yeah,
chemical.
yeah.
If we actually dumped some pure phosphorus here, it probably, if it was a basement, it probably would eat through the carpet and either concrete or wood or whatever it is, and just go right in and start a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? And it had to be a 500-pound bomb, and it was a phosphorus bomb. And supposedly it was, I don't know if it was delayed action or not, but that building was targeted. And I remember coming in, I flew right up the street to the front door. I was right on the ground and going like a bat out of hell. And I slammed that bomb right into the building. And I remember talking about it. I don't remember actually now, as you know, I couldn't say it's a fact, but I don't remember whether I pulled up and circled around, and you can look back as you're coming up, you can look back down over your shoulder and see what you did. And I was climbing pretty damn good, because coming down I built up a head of steam. And I came back up and around, supposedly, and looked, because I remember talking to somebody about it. And evidently that bomb blasted into the center of the building, and then it was spreading phosphorus all over, and that thing was instantly becoming toast.
Went up in flames.
Oh, solid.
Is phosphorus one of those things you can't really put out?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you had water and stuff, you couldn't put that out.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing. That's
it.
goodbye.
Yeah.
So this stuff is not even clear in my mind anymore.
Yeah. Well, you remember the conversation you had about it later. Sometimes.
I remember saying something about it.
Yeah. Well, you know, you store your memory in auditory and visual and then emotional parts of the brain.
Well,
They're different.
evidently the windows all lit up.
Mhm.
Oh,
The windows in the building or the windows in the?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the building, not in the.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have any windows in the cockpit. I had a bubble canopy.
Did
that-
you
that
know?
would roll back.
Did you know to go to after that particular building?
Yeah.
They told you there's
well,
something there?
I don't know. It must have been, because they wouldn't put a phosphorus bomb on me to haul in there.
Yeah, it was a specific mission
Well,
probably.
it was I was like a mailman with special delivery.
Well, there's one of
That's
these
good.
where you go back twice, you know, you were gonna make sure, and there's two runs on the same thing. That's a little later. But if you notice, there's like 4 buildings here, and you're really focused, there's something going on in the center of this. If you watch here for a second, you'll see I don't know if that was a barracks or some kind of a depot or,
Yeah,
and you come in pretty close, actually. You can see, I think the dust from the bullets hitting. So that might have been a barracks or something, I don't know.
I was pretty damn close.
Yeah. Now
Now,
here, yeah, go ahead.
You can see that, and if, just envision that you're in a big plane that was many tons weight, and with those wings out there. And they had to be very, the airframe had to be ungodly strong.
Yep. sure was.
Because I was pulling back and those wings were carrying unbelievable weight. I didn't think of it at the time probably, or I'd have been dirtying my pants.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at this carefully, you're pretty close to the ground. You can see the pine trees, you can see the shadow. I don't know if that's a truck or a tank or something. Did you ever hit a tank or see a tank? This is some kind of a large vehicle. Maybe it's a,
Well,
you know,
I must have.
here you're going after it. It's,
Yeah,
Is that, I don't know if that's a tank or what that is, you know. You could probably enhance that photograph and figure out what this target
What are
was.
you shooting at? Yeah.
Well,
But you were
see,
hitting,
that's where, I seem to remember S9. On my pictures, do you see my book?
yeah.
I've got the guys, I had them posed as a joke, and they were sitting, one I think was whittling, and the other was, I think they had some booze bottles scattered around them or something, and I think it was S9, and we had made a sign, S9 at work.
S9 is intelligence, or what is it?
Yeah, they were the intelligence guys.
Yeah.
They were the ones that would periodically get us into a dark room, a tent,
Yeah.
when we were in that part of France. And they would question us about what we actually saw and did on that particular mission.
Mm-hmm.
So it had to be pretty quick after. So, and so our film would, they would have to clean out the guns and reload the ammunition in the wings. They were in channels, and with little metal clips clipping each one, not like the old-fashioned World War I fabric
With a
belts.
belt, yeah. How long did it take to turn you guys around? Did you go out on more than one sortie or whatever mission
Yeah,
in a day?
yeah, we did, but not very often because the planes had a lot of work to get done
Yeah.
on them.
But you could, what was the turnaround time to get you back in the air?
Well, I remember, I think, something about the St. Lo breakthrough when the Patton's tanks were able to cross, and I don't know what river, whether it's the Rhine or what it was, or not the Rhine, but
Seine, I don't know, we'll have to get the map out.
yeah, but it was, yeah, the Seine River, because I remember the Seine base was a name of some area. But the town was Remagen, and it was the Remagen bridgehead that the Germans didn't blow up when they went across it. Probably because some of them weren't over yet. And then we came, I remember they scrambled us. This was a real rush, get going, get up and get going type of thing. And I remember, I don't know if there was more than one mission for that.
They wanted to make sure you were watching this bridge because they didn't want to lose it to the Germans.
Well, I remember, I think I remember diving on it and spraying it with machine gun.
Were there tanks, or was it just German soldiers, or do you have any memories of those?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't have any recollection.
Yeah, well, that was a big important moment in World War II, because that was when we got the bridgehead across that river.
Remagen Bridgehead, St. Lo breakthrough.
Yeah, that's a historic moment.
Yeah, they actually broke through, and from then on it was all hell for leather. But until Germany put together this the Battle of the Bulge.
Mm-hmm.
The bulge was the lines bulging, I guess, and I don't know what town it was.
Bastogne, I think is where they were
Oh,
defending.
yes, Bastogne Bulge. Bastogne
Yeah.
Bulge.
Yeah. And you were there at Bastogne doing air support?
Yes, I remember coming down with a bomb under the belly, probably 1,000 pounds. No, not 1,000 under the belly, but I remember coming down, and I had on the belly shackle, I had a bomb. It had to be a 500-pound bomb, and I was about the fourth one down. We were in a fight, and we were peeling off one after the other. And I was a tail end guy, evidently. And I came down full throttle, and just, I evidently took a beat on something on the ground and pushed the button, and then pulled back. And came back up, and I had pretty good head of speed, but that T-bolt was pretty heavy, and you know, you could run out of the build-up speed, and then you couldn't be climbing straight, or you'd stall out and auger in. But I remember coming up and then having to flatten a little bit, but I kept climbing. And then I was circling around to go back down for another run. And one of our people who was in charge of the squadron that day on that mission called me and said, "Don't go down again." Evidently, we lost some planes on the way down just before, and there was so much flak. It was just solid in the air, and chances are I never would have come back up. I would have gone straight in.
No, that kind of.
He says, he said to me, he says, just stay up there, fly over, and just let it go on the level.
Saved your life probably with that.
Oh, I'm sure.
instruction, Yeah.
I'm sure that I would have been history otherwise.
Now, I've never seen these where it was a bomb run, so the cameras were only activated when you're firing the machine guns, is that right?
Right,
Okay. And that would be why we're not seeing bombing, bombs hitting or something.
Bastogne, yes.
Okay. Well, let's go on here. This will be, now it looks like the roads run right through a lot of pine trees, you know. So that's, and there's kind of rough looking land there. I'll bet we could identify that if we knew the area. Here's, I think you make 2 runs on this. It looks like there's a truck or something on this road. And it looks like, you know, you went down on one run, and I think you come back if I remember right. No, okay, this one you came back twice. It's a house. So you must have known there was something in that particular house.
That must have been the target.
Yeah. The other thing is, now you see when it hits something, there's a white dot. So I'm assuming that's the bullet is striking something metal or whatever, and it creates
Flashing.
enough light that you can see it back at the.
It's a flash,
Yeah.
evidently, or something.
All right, so you go up again and come back at the same target. So you wanted something that was in that house. Maybe it was
I
an
could
aircraft
see the rounds
observer.
heading down there.
All right, here we're at 23 February. Was the bulge over by that,
Yeah,
Glenn?
It was
Okay,
over by then.
so this is right after the,
They're pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I sit next to a paratrooper that was at the Battle of the Bulge. And he was wounded for the second time on January 4th. He said right at the end of the Battle of the Bulge.
mm-hmm.
And the general that was surrounded with all his men in Bastogne,
Oh, yeah, he said nuts when they
Yeah,
asked him to surrender.
he sent back a message and just said nuts.
Now this looks like it's some of the deteriorated film, because we get an occasional tracer, but there's really not anything much showing. But this will end. I think it's just that one section on that one reel. And it's apparently, you were telling me it was the silver nitrate or something, the celluloid deteriorated, was the lady said,
Yeah,
over time. Okay, here this is the same date, I think, February 23rd, 45. Yeah, oh, well, you're starting to get an image of a town and you're turning, you're firing.
yeah, I'm pulling up.
You're following, it looks like you're following a road here. Well, you had to have a very good three-dimensional sense to, you know, keep track of the weight of the airplane and the turns and how the lead is and everything else.
Well, it was all reaction. It was natural.
Mm-hmm.
I had that natural ability, evidently, or I wouldn't be alive today.
Now this one shows it's like smoke coming off of the tracer bullets, and I think this may be a railroad or something.
Well, I must have hit something.
Yeah, it almost looks like there's two steam, like a steam locomotive or something down there. But you can actually see the smoke come off the bullets as they're firing in that clip.
See, I don't have conscious recollection of some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it was me, or it wouldn't have my name on it.
Now here we're into March 14th. The war ended on May 8th, so this is about 2 months, a little under 2 months till the end of the
Magen
war.
was March 25th, roughly.
Oh, it was,
So
okay.
they weren't into Germany yet.
Okay.
I think
Yeah, here's the road.
I was on a flak leaf. And it was our flight surgeon who chose anybody that for a flak leaf.
So you'd get a break and go somewhere nice for recovery for a while, or is that the
We
idea
got
of it?
onto a mail plane, and I remember there were so many people on it, it was way overloaded. And we were going to Cannes, C-A-N-N-E-S,
Mm-hmm.
on the Riviera. And and I think we were based at Frankfurt on Main. And that airport was just under some mountains. And that plane was so overloaded, it was unbelievable. And I had we had put a mini bike, motorbike, a little motorcycle on the plane, which I had gotten charge of as it was abandoned by the German.
Oh, it was a German motorbike?
Yeah.
You requisitioned this then?
I guess. And we had we were having a ball riding it around on the landing field. And the CO sent down a note or ordered, quit using it, they gotta save gasoline. Yeah. So we couldn't do anything with it. So then Bob Swafford, his name,
Yeah,
and I got Doc to issue us a flak leave saying, hey, we needed it. So we got to get onto the plane and go to Cannes. And so we loaded on that little motorcycle on it too. They stuck everything on it. And it was way overloaded with troops, with passengers. And they had a hell of a time bringing it in for a safe landing. Evidently the wind was wrong or something, and they had to come in right under the cliff. And they were circling under it to level out and hit the runway or something. And that was a scary moment, but they would never take commercial passengers like they did with us.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the mail plane, DC-3, I think.
Did you have seats in that, or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. And we had 10 days there. While we were there, and we stayed, Bob and I had a front right on the avenue that was right along the Mediterranean, right along the beach. And it was I've got pictures in my book, and it was I can't think of the hotel, but it had a big sign built on the top of the hotel, which had been black, dark, for the whole war. And bingo, Germany capitulated. And that night, they lit it up.
Turn the sign back on.
Yep. And there was a 55mm howitzer right almost across the street from the hotel, guarding what do you call
The
it?
boulevard or something, or?
The ocean front.
Oh, yeah, okay.
For,
The break walls or something.
no, it was a beautiful beach type of thing, and but it was they had armaments protecting everything so that the German Navy can move in. And I remember those 55mm these are big shells,
Oh, yeah.
big
sure.
round. And I remember they were firing them off out into the Mediterranean in celebration.
Hoping they didn't hit anything out there
Oh,
in the
yeah.
dark.
Oh, no, it wasn't in the dark.
Oh,
I
it was
mean,
during the
that,
day.
That was
Yeah,
the next
yeah.
day.
Yeah,
And when that cannon, it was a big cannon. I've got
yeah,
pictures
it's
of it.
artillery piece, sure.
Yeah, artillery. And when that would go off, the thing would leap.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see it. You could see the shell.
Really?
Went out
Huh,
like that.
okay.
Yeah, you could see it. It
Yeah,
was,
that's a big shell.
yeah, it was big, big time. And I remember that was really something.
Well, let's see. We've got in this film. It looks like you can see all the trees. You got the tracer, and there's you know, a roadway here.
Well,
Can you see these okay? Here, now here, there's 3 buildings in a row, and you got a target, looks like between the buildings. And there's something coming up, I don't know if you notice this is coming up from the ground towards you, right there. So there's anti-aircraft at the same time you're firing.
Well, the good Lord was watching over me.
Yeah. It's kind of slow motion to look at this, and I don't know if that actually was, you know, it must be accurate, it's a film,
I would
but
say
it looks
that-
like it's in slow motion coming up from the ground towards you, you know?
Well, if it was coming towards me, you couldn't actually see the movement of it.
Uh-huh. So it's when it's off to the angle away from you, that's when you would see it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So evidently the brightness was just a compilation of the amount of light showing the whatever it was.
Well, your bullets going towards the target look like they're moving faster than the bullets coming from the ground at an angle that are missing you. And
Well,
you're also moving at the speed of the airplane, I suppose.
Evidently we're seeing some of the blast
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
and that's my guess.
Well, I would have rather had your 850 calibers than these ones coming up towards you, but you didn't want to get hit by any of them. That was 45. March
Yeah,
14th.
I was saying that all of a sudden, we were in enemy territory, and all of a sudden, boom, and it shook the plane, and there was a hole through my left wing, and it was just blasted, and all was flared out on the top.
And that was the 20 millimeter round?
It had to be, because if it was anything bigger, they had 88s.
Yeah.
And that would have blown the wing right off. And then it would have been spinning so fast I couldn't have gotten out of the plane even and used my chute.
Yeah.
But it was just, it opened the wing. And it was a hole, clean. And it didn't set off any of my armament. And it didn't hit any of the control cables. It was just a miracle.
Are there gas tanks in the wing of a P-47, or where's the gas kept?
We had a tank in the fuselage, and I don't remember.
Well, you wouldn't want that to get hit.
I think I have some pictures of the panels open on the wing and showing how all 4 of the guns, which were sequenced, but
Kind of the layout.
how they were laid out. But it missed the gunnery and everything.
Well, that was your lucky day.
Yes, it was.
You had a lot of lucky days, sounds like. And especially looking at this, you get a sense of the ground fire. Now here you're hitting something because it's reflecting the hit. So it might be a train. I don't know, there's plume of smoke, I'm not sure what that is. And you're walking it in towards this. You see this fire?
Yeah.
So you've just walked in some rounds and
Yeah, I'm
there's
feeling-
one of these where it actually blows up while you're seeing it on the film. This is a little underexposed, but you can make out, you know, some fields and. Now, the original condition, when you saw these the first time, they were much better condition, I'm assuming. The film quality, when you saw them, or, you know,
I
back in
would
the 40s.
surmise so.
Because some of these are a little deteriorated over age. There's a real tight hit, so you must be 1,000 yards or whatever it is where you're centered, and you hit something on the road there.
I was traveling at about 400 miles an hour or so, I would guess.
Yeah.
Would you say so,
Yeah,
Glenn?
oh yeah, well, especially in the dive, you had to be. But, did they show you these films afterward, Al?
Yeah,
You did get to see them?
yeah, we had to sit down and, on a session with S9 or
Oh, and
S3 or
debrief?
whatever they
Yeah.
were. Yeah, to be debriefed.
Okay.
But it was after, a few days after, because, and periodically they would be brought in and go over that. And they would want to know if there was anything special on any of this. They would want to know if some things are being put in or we've destroyed or what, you know, it's,
Whether they were shooting at Rommel or whatever.
yeah.
Did you keep, did they keep records then of like things on the ground? Would they keep track of, like you hit
Well-
a truck on this road and,
My guess is that they reported everything.
Yeah.
And all of that was put together back behind the lines and
yeah,
to create,
it's probably in an archive somewhere now, if it still exists.
who knows?
Oh, that one, this one, there was a real tight pattern on, I'm assuming it's a vehicle. So you're right at the, and there's some, I don't know if this is dust, I imagine that's dust rather than a cloud. And you're walking it up there, did you see that? You just hit something, it was a truck or something that just blew up. You hit it as you're going, walking the tracers up the road. Can you see that okay?
Yeah,
And then you're pulling out.
I had to. I'm here.
Yeah, or you'd hit the thing you
Feel
were
me.
shooting at. And so it looks like you're doing a lot of work on the roadways, you know, things that are trying to travel during the daytime. There's the curving,
You know, this is 70 years old.
yeah. I wonder if these are, you know, they have canals too, don't they, up in the area of the
Yeah.
France and Germany?
Yeah. In fact, we were sent after a dam. And,
A dam, and with bombs, or
yeah,
was it a French dam or a German dam, or do you have any recollection of it?
if it was in the summer, it was a hot dam. I don't know.
Did you hit the dam, or it's just too
I
far?
don't know, because when we drop a bomb or drive a bomb, which in effect that's what we do, we go in and drive it in,
Mhm.
slam it in. But we wouldn't know that unless we circled around and came back to look,
Mhm.
and that's when,
That's when you would get hit with the anti-aircraft.
oh yeah.
Well, let's see, we're at March 18th, 1945. So they must have, when they spliced these together, I'm not sure they did them all in chronological
No,
order. They just
sure.
kind of grabbed them and put them.
They just stuck it, they said it was Al Lieberman, so put this in
Yeah.
Al's file.
Yeah, and that's right. So,
And here we've got fields going this way, and then they're at a right angle to it, and here's your roadway, and there, it looks like a little duster some kind of smoke, and you're coming in, and it's hitting, you can see the rounds hit. It's just amazing how much damage those machine gun bullets could do.
Yeah.
Oh, if they had a vehicle,
Here you
It would
hit
destroy
right
it.
there.
it would take it apart.
Now, this looks like you're making hits on something here. I don't know what that is, if that's a truck or, I mean, you're wiping whatever that is out. Could that be a train
Looks like it could be.
with a string of locomotives and you're hitting right here behind the locomotive? It looks kind of like that. I bet that would be a good one to enhance. You can see the building right here very clearly with the doors and the windows, and that looks the size of a train. And it looks like you're hitting right there at the locomotive.
Well, that's the only place we would be aiming at. I
Yeah.
think. Although who knows, they could have had a car full of special ammo.
Now here it looks like a train with the smoke coming out and you're hitting right there in the front. Now watch. Well, you just did hit, I just saw a bunch of bullets hit. Okay, here we got, looks like trucks on a road. And you can see the bullets start going up the road here. Were you told, as far as the tactics, to go at right angles to locomotives, or was there a way you were supposed to do this in terms of going up roads or anything? Or?
I can't recall it.
Yeah, here you can see them start following the, oops. Oh, I hit the wrong, that was the wrong button. I just got the cursor off a little bit. Hang on a second. Let's go back here. Yeah, we're a little bit farther. I think we're at March. Yeah, we're going to re-show this one. But that looks to me like a train and a locomotive. And it was out in the open. And maybe you came back, and then here it's hitting right here. And here's trucks. And these are going to go up the road. These roads look, they go through pine forests, you know.
You know what's gonna happen, Al, you're gonna, at sleep tonight, you're gonna remember some of these, and you're gonna say, oh, I remember that now.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, it's a few seconds. Now here, you look at this looks like a road and you're having all kinds of hits and it's throwing up stuff into the air. You know, I mean, I bet you if we did some photo enhancement, I mean, that we could get more
Recognize some of that?
detail. Now we're on to March 19th, 45. Yeah, you're hitting right here. I'm not sure if that's a house. It looks kind of like a house. And you can see the roadway here and the bullets hitting there. That looked like might have been a truck or something. Well, anything that moved looked like you could be a target if it was on a roadway. There was a round came up off the ground shooting at you. There's, see, here, this one is that's somebody firing at you.
Yeah,
Hmm?
poor
They
shot.
missed.
He was a poor shot.
It showed it going by me.
Yeah. Well, it's probably, I don't know if it's, what would have a tracer round with one tracer in it, like a guy with a gun, would he?
Well,
Firing?
like
No.
every 10th shell was a tracer.
Yeah,
So all you're seeing is the tracer, just enough to know where you're shooting at.
yeah. Well, it might have been just a guy with a rifle or something, I don't know.
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah, you're hitting targets on the roadway, and the roads look like they're one lane in each direction. Now we're at March 20th, 45. Yeah, I must have been overexposed. Oh, here we go. Yeah, here's looks like a truck on the road.
See, it's hard for me to make that out.
Yeah, see, there's like a road here and a bunch of fields. It might be a tractor for all I know, but and you're making hits on it. And I think you come around and do it again on that target. So you're pulling up.
I remember us catching, and I don't know if I'm saying the right words, a battalion or a regiment or what. It had to be a few hundred soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time we came down on them and started firing, they were running and scattering all over the place. So they knew we were there. And I remember coming across that field and right on the field and fishtailing with our guns blazing. And I think there were a number of us, 2 or 3 of us. So we were just cleaning up that field.
Well, you got a lot of Germans that day then. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in the films that.
Is that Kleenex over there?
Right here, Al. in your
Oh,
thing.
that's right. Thank you.
Well, whatever this target was, and it might be a truck or, something like that. It looks like you might have gone 3 times to get, you
Yeah.
hit it, and it looks like you hit it.
Well, if there
You-
wasn't flak coming up,
It wasn't moving either, so maybe it was disabled and it's sitting there in the road. I don't know.
I'm sure that if there was anybody in it and they were alive, they'd be long gone.
Yeah, they might have been hit. See, now you're making
yeah.
solid hits on this thing, but maybe it had been already hit and it was just out there in the road. I don't know. It wasn't in motion. They probably jumped out and got the heck away from it if they knew there were planes in the area.
You gotta surmise
Looks
that.
like the film continues on about 4 seconds after you stop shooting.
Yeah,
Doesn't that look like?
yeah. And then you're going up this road. It looks like this is the truck or whatever the vehicle. You can see the telephone poles and it was March 22nd, 45.
Well, you must have been going up every day then in March.
Oh, I think so. Do you remember, do you know who Alexander Graham Kowalski was?
He was the pole vaulter.
He was the first telephone pole.
Oh, telephone pole.
Take a look at this one now. At first glance, you don't know what you're looking at, but that's the horizon. So you must be over like this at this point.
Yeah,
Now watch watch this thing. So it almost looks like you're,
I'm straightening out.
yeah, and you
Yeah.
can see the glint off of the propeller. Now I don't know what you're doing there. You're turning as you're, what would you call that?
That was a roll.
Oh,
Well, then if
okay.
you were shooting in a plane, you were leading them. And you're not
Although
gonna
there's
see
no
it.
tracers coming out, I don't know. Maybe there weren't now this
Oh,
one,
this is clear.
look at, you can see all the details of the, I'll bet you could take a still off of this and
Figure
you
out
might
where
be
it
able
is.
to figure out what
I
the town was.
I was coming straight down.
See, and you can see there, the bullets are gonna go up the road. Now you're pulling up. Yeah, here's some smoke, and it looks like you're gonna walk the tracers up the road. So there
Yeah,
must have
you're-
been something down there that, you know, you're making a couple passes at. Now this had a bullet come out of this, coming up, and I don't know what that's a car or what that is.
Could have been any aircraft shooting at him.
Yeah, well, maybe they jumped out and then, you know, fired at the plane. They're out there in the woods. And that's it. That was, that's all that we had. You had other reels, but, you know, they didn't turn out, so.
There was quite a bit there, just like.
Oh,
what we
yeah, that's 1/3 of them.
had. Yeah.
I think what we could do is see if there's a way to enhance some of these pictures too, to make them a little clearer, because, you know, they colorize film now. If you had the right person with the right software, they might be able to make these come back to life, so to speak.